This is the Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast. Here's Rick Ucchino and SP3 on the Bleav Podcast Network.
Well, how about one more show to close out the week before we all can just sit down and enjoy 3 jam-packed days of professional wrestling that's going to include SmackDown tonight, AEW Rampage tonight. Tomorrow we get Clash at the Castle. You got GCW tomorrow night as well. And then on Sunday, it's Worlds Collide and then the grand finale. What we are here to break down right now in a very special live edition AEW All Out. SP3 not joining me here tonight. He is actually in Chicago for Rampage tonight, so good for him. But our good friend Graham Matthews from Bleacher Report. Hey, it's an AEW pay-per-view. Might as well get somebody from Bleacher Report on to talk about it. Graham, what's going on, man?
Doing great, man. Very excited for this weekend between, All Out on Sunday, which we're talking about here today, Clash of the Castle tomorrow, and NXT Worlds Collide, of course, on Sunday afternoon. So, happy to be filling in for SP3 here today.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. We have, by the way, for those who are tuning in, we will be done by 8 o'clock, by hook, by crook, whether we have to lie, cheat, or steal. We'll be done by 8 o'clock for SmackDown, all right? Which I know that means we have 14 matches to get through. Why there's 14 matches on this card, I don't know, but I'm genuinely excited for most of them. Before we dive into everything, got to get the business out of the way first. Got to thank our friends over at Bet Online. We would not be here without them right now. Fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Get reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting to props and futures. Go to the website today or use your mobile device, sign up, use our promo code BLEAV50, BLEAV50 to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. We thank everybody who has joined in. We'll try to get to as many comments as we can today as well. I know that Triple H was making some headlines this week. I know Tony Khan is making some headlines this week. So if you want us to dive into anything, let us know in the chat. We'll try to get to them as much as possible. Again, a lot of wrestling going on this weekend. We did do our prediction show for Clash at the Castle and Worlds Collide with Samira. That is up right now. You make sure to check that out. Also, you can check out my conversation that I did this week with Shayna Baszler. That is still good, obviously. She's got a big match at Clash at the Castle. Talked to Ryan Satin this week as well. Dove into a lot of things, including a certain report. Yes, that report, and why he got out of the news business. So a lot on the channel today. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Graham, are you ready to dive into this? Let's start with 0 Hour, right? Not a buy-in anymore. It is 0 Hour, and this is a matchup that truly, truly intrigues me. We have Pac, who I believe is defending the All-Atlantic Championship against a member of the AEW roster for the first time. This has been a traveling championship ever since Pac won it in June. Now he's going up against Kip Sabian, who had one of the longest what the fuck is he doing storylines I think I've seen in AEW just for months and months and months, showing up with a box on his head, and then he finally takes the box off and he takes out Pac as a way to eliminate them from the trios tournament. Yep. His team anyway. And I'm very, very intrigued by what they're doing with Kip Sabian. I would love to see this progress. I would hate for his first big match out of the gate to be a loss, but Pac hasn't had this All-Atlantic title very long either. So I'm kind of torn about which way I want this to go. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, no, I'm kind of the same way as well. Pac only won it, it's crazy to think Forbidden Door was over 2 months ago. I don't know where the time goes, but he's only been champion for a little over 2 months. I love the idea of the traveling championship. They've been showing the matches in full from Rev Pro and everywhere he's been defending it, over on Dark in their entirety, and then showing the highlights on Dynamite. I think that's cool. And then we've had Pac lately on Dynamite in the 6-man tag, which is cool. So I think this is going to be a good match. Kip Sabian's first since maybe May or April of 2021. You'd have to go back quite a bit. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to the match. I'm going to say Pac wins here. Kip Sabian, maybe he looks good enough in defeat where the feud continues. I still say it would be a little too early to be taking that championship off of Pac. I wouldn't be surprised to see a title change, but I'm going with Pac on this one.
Yeah, the chat so far agrees with you, Steven and Noob, saying Pac is retaining. I get a feeling we're going to open up the show in Chicago and we're going to get a shocker to kind of set the tone for the night. I like Kip Sabian to pull what I think would be an upset here and beat Pac. Doesn't have to do it clean. He can do shenanigan BS like he did when he took him out of the trios title and he had the, pulling the Dexter Loomis with the imposter in the crowd there, right? Which one came first? Was it Sabian or Loomis? I can't remember now. It was about the same time, I think, right?
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. Everybody.
Well, Sabian's been in the crowd for a lot longer than Loomis ever showed up. He's been in the crowd for like a year and a half now. So
yeah, that's very, very true. I think this has to have some kind of a big payoff to it. I like Kip Sabian to get the win here. This is a match that was added very, very recently. A lot of backstage drama here, Graham. That was supposed to be Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara. That match is not happening due to some backstage issues that have since been squashed, and the two gentlemen have shaken hands, and everything's been put behind them, allegedly. But now we're gonna get Tomohiro Ishii here against Eddie Kingston again. I don't know. I would put this one kind of down low on the totem pole as far as matches that I'm most interested by this weekend. I guess Eddie Kingston gets another win here. I like Eddie in this one.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a match that I'm looking forward to from an in-ring standpoint. We know Eddie's probably winning. I don't think Ishii goes. I mean, unless the punishment is taking a loss to Ishii. I mean, it is a little weird that the person's suspended, unless Sammy was suspended too. I haven't followed every detail of this story, but it sounds like Eddie was suspended. He's got the pay-per-view match. Sammy does not. He's on Rampage tonight, again in mixed tag team action. Yeah. I'm not complaining. Eddie compels me more as a character currently than Sammy does in the whole Time Elo thing, so no complaints on my end, but it should be a good hard-hitting match. It's a rematch from New Japan. I think they had a match either a year ago or earlier this year. They're going to go out there and kill it on the, I almost said the buy-in, but 0 hour, but I got Eddie going over as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a chop fest for sure. By the way, Steven with a good point here. Don't count out Penelope Ford in that earlier Kip Sabian Pac match that we dove into. That is a very, very good point. Second title match of the 0 hour. Hook defending his newly won FTW championship. I think it's still fairly new anyway. Newly won FTW championship over Cool Hand Angelo Parker. Yeah, this Hook's winning. I don't have a whole lot to say on this one. Hook's winning. I mean,
he's obviously winning. Yeah, I mean, this is just an excuse to get Hook on the show, kind of like the Danhausen match was an excuse to get him on the Double or Nothing pre-show, the tag team match with Danhausen, which there hasn't really been much follow-up on that since then. Danhausen's back with Best Friends. AEW has a tendency to kind of do things for a little bit and then move on. It's weird, but anyway, it's fine. He'll win probably pretty promptly. Let's keep it short and sweet. Keep the belt on Hook. That's all that needs to be said here, I think.
Yeah, look, he's gonna go in there and he's gonna dominate, which is what Hook is always done. So yes, he's gonna retain the FTW championship, and yeah, I kind of feel bad for Cool Hand Angelo Parker because he's gonna get something handed to him, if you know what I'm saying. Let's get to the main course, shall we? This is a match that I'm very, very much looking forward to. You want to talk about some drama, by the way. Malachi Black has been making some headlines. Well, not necessarily him making the headlines, but there's been a lot of headlines about Malachi Black this week, whether or not that he requested his release, whether or not he's been unhappy, whether or not those issues have since been resolved. Regardless, this is a big match for House of Black, who did not advance in the trios tournament. So this is a group that badly needs a win here. You're talking about Brody, who lost the coffin match. He lost his world championship match against John Moxley, and I can't remember the last time Malachi scored a big win. You're looking at the team here of Miro, Sting, and Darby Allin. I mean, I know Sting is undefeated and everything, but my Lord, if it now ain't the time for House of Black, I don't know when is.
It's interesting you say that. I don't know, like, has he ever even lost Sting that is like a 6-man tag, or has he literally won every match he's been in?
I think he is. I'm on the page right now, so let me go down. I think he is legitimately, totally undefeated, and he is. He is 1-0 tag team, 2-0 trios, 4-0 overall in 2022. His career is 10-0 according to the AEW roster page. So yeah, he has not lost. They don't like to give that man a pinfall, but my Lord, Could you make Malachi all of a sudden feel like a major player and really important if he just kicks the ever-loving crap out of Sting, just knocks his ass cold with that back-spinning kick and pins him 1, 2, 3? Like, let's charge up Malachi here. Like, if that's who you saving Sting's first loss for at this point?
Yeah, I know. It's just weird. I mean, I feel this way about both guys, that being Malachi and Darby, where they should be doing more than they are. I love both guys. I love the idea of the feud, and the feud so far has been fine. You mentioned Malachi there. Let's get it going here and have Sting's team lose. You also got to remember, too, a week ago on Rampage, they lost to Dark Order. Alex Reynolds pinned Malachi Black. And yeah, I'm not saying he should have pinned.
There were some shenanigans involved.
There were shenanigans. It wasn't clean, but I'm thinking, listen, Buddy Matthews is right there, dude. I love Buddy Matthews. We share the same last name, even though it's not my real last name, but you get what I mean. Like, I wish he would have gotten pinned over Malachi. I'm not going to comment on the whole, release thing. We have no idea what's true, what's not. Some credible sources are reporting it's true. Some other ones are saying it's not. So we have no idea as of right now. I honestly, this one can go either way. Miro's another one, kind of not lost in the shuffle, but lost in the shuffle. I don't know. This is a match where it's like, all right, let's just get him on the show to get him on the show.
This is like the Thanksgiving leftovers match. Like, these are 6 dudes, right? With maybe the exception of Sting, who at this point is an attraction, right? You don't want to overuse Sting. He's like the truffle oil in the dish. Just a little bit goes a long way, but you don't want to overuse him, right? But then you got these 5 other dudes that you should be doing a lot more with that you're just not. It's the Thanksgiving leftovers match. And somebody here needs to be the star and shine. All I know is if somebody's going to get pinned from either team, it can't be Miro or Malachi. I'm sorry. It just can't. And I would say the same for Brody and Darby. Whoever loses this match, it needs to either be Buddy, who I hate saying that because I am a big fan of Buddy Matthews. Not because of the last name thing, but I think he's just genuinely a really, really good performer. I think Sting's the guy who's got to eat the pin here, and I think it matters who pins him. I think Malachi has got to be the guy. I think Malachi's massive.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think you could turn a regular old 6-man. I mean, the fact we're talking about this first from the main card tells you how low on the totem pole this match is on the card, and that's not to say it's going to be a bad match. It should be great, but it just doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of importance, and it's been furthered some weeks. We don't see certain guys for like a month on end. It's very weird. I forgot even what Miro's issue was with Malachi. I guess it goes back to Forbidden Door.
He got misted.
He got misted, but it feels like it was an eternity ago. I don't know. But I'm going to agree with you, Rick. I'll say House of Black wins. The Dark Order loss left a sour taste in my mouth. It wasn't even with Adam Page on the team. It was with 10.
You misunderstand what I said. I said they should win. Let's be honest. This is Tony Khan booking here. Sting's getting the win. Sting is 100% winning this match, whether he's pinning Malachi or he's making Buddy Matthews tap. I don't think they'd have him beat Brody. Brody's kind of that monster. Sting's winning this damn match. He should be losing it, but Sting is winning that damn match.
For the sake of being different, I'll go the opposite. But I agree with you. They should win. I don't think they will, but I'll just. For the record, I'll just say House of Black, even though they're probably losing.
Somebody asked about Steven again. Might we see CJ and Julia cat fight? He's predicting that Darby, Sting, and Miro wins. Now, Julia does kind of make it uneven with her presence there. I wouldn't mind seeing CJ show up. I don't need her every week. I don't need her as a competitor in AEW per se. I'm always for giving more women opportunity and getting more women on the show. And I genuinely thought she was better than what she got in WWE, the slack that she got. But I wouldn't mind seeing CJ show up for this match.
I mean, we've been waiting for not waiting for, but we've been expecting it since she got cut almost a year and a half ago, since June of last year, almost exactly a year and a quarter ago. So, I could see that. I'm not sure how well it would go over in Chicago, but I mean, listen, AEW fans, if you see a surprise cameo, regardless of who it's from, they're going to probably pop for it regardless. So it makes sense to counteract Julia. I'm not a big Lana fan myself, but you know what? Why the fuck not? He's been talking to his wife for a year and a half now, so just get it.
I know she's a reference character. She's a hot, flexible goddess or whatever the hell he calls her. I don't know. This one's got some genuine intrigue from my perspective. Christian Cage has just been an absolute savage ever since on the microphone. I mean, ever since he turned on Jungle Boy and tried to pull Luchasaurus away from him. We got the battle of chest hair in this one, Graham. Which one are you going with? Jungle Boy or Jack Perry? Jungle Boy says Jack Perry. Finally, JR is going to be right on commentary. Is going up against Christian Cage this Sunday night. So much wrestling going on. I can't keep my days.
God, yeah.
Who do you like in this one?
Yeah, so this is the exact opposite feeling for me. I'm looking forward to the 6-man, but as far as story and matches I'm looking forward to at this show and really just the entire weekend, this maybe not leads the list, but it's towards the top. I mean, this is a classic example of a feud done well. It's been furthered every week on Dynamite. I'm sorry, none of this Rampage garbage where it's in a 2-second thing on Rampage.
Right.
It's got to be prioritized than it has been on Dynamite. Jungle Boy has gotten a lot better on the mic. Christian's been killing in his role. You still have the intrigue too. Where does Luchasaurus fit into all of this? And the original idea was that he would be with Christian, and then he kind of wasn't, quote unquote. And we haven't seen him in a little while because he got suspended for attacking a rep or whatever. I think they did that out of sight, out of mind. I kind of forgot about it until someone mentioned it recently. I think he resurfaces here. Maybe teases helping Jungle Boy and then helps Christian win. So I think Jungle Boy winning would be huge regardless. I think the end game of the feud should be Christian losing to Jungle Boy. I don't think we should get there yet. I think they can have a series of matches. I think Christian is owed a big win, especially after losing a year ago at All Out to Kenny Omega. It'd be a nice redemption story if he won here. Yeah. So I'm going to go Christian. Jungle Boy wins in the end, whether it's Full Gear or on Dynamite in the next couple of weeks or months.
This to me screams like classic Dick Heelish booking here, where like you want Jungle Boy to just beat the ever-living piss out of Christian for all of the just savage things that he's said about his family and his dad and his mom, and trying to hit on his mom and get her number and all this other stuff and trying to pull the best friend away, right? Like Christian has just been not a good dude, and you want to see Jungle Boy just beat the hell out of him. But I think this is one of the situations where we're going to get both. I think Christian is going to get his ass kicked in this match, but at the end of the day, he's the one that's going to get his hand raised. I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know if we do see, I think we'll see Luchasaurus show up, but I don't know if he's going to be joining up with Christian and completing the heel turn or what's going to happen here. Something fishy is going to happen here at the end of this match, and I think Christian is going to end up getting the win. I don't necessarily know if that's the right play here, because again, Jungle Boy is one of these guys that you could elevate up to the card. Another guy we're going to talk about next. He's a guy that could get this win, come out on top of this feud, but like you said, you could continue it after this if there is shenanigans.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good, of all the feuds that AEW is doing right now, this is one of my more favorite feuds, so to speak, one that I'm actually intrigued to see furthered on a weekly basis on Dynamite. For as many, I go back to this a lot, but the Kingston Jericho feud by the end, to me, was just so worn down, so thin. I just didn't care by the end. It ended on an awful note with that barbed wire match, at least to me. This is just me speaking. That was a feud that went on for like 7 months. 7 months. Jericho and MJF got a year. And there was some good stuff in that year, don't get me wrong. But it was a feud, to me, a storyline that did not need to last a year. My point is, there's some stories that don't need to go that long and some stories that should not be a month long. This has been going on since June. This is not quick. But I do think this is a feud they can extend a little bit further, get more out of it, get more matches out of it. And I think this has the potential to be one of the show stealers of this show.
The other guy I was alluding to would be Mr. Ricky Starks. Tag team partners, former best friends, going at it after Ricky dropped the FTW championship to Hook, poured his heart out to the crowd, says it's supposed to be my time right now. I'm tired of being patient. And he and Hobbs, and then we didn't figure out what the end of that sentence was, because Powerhouse just absolutely pancaked Ricky from behind, clobbered him in the back of the neck here. This is a story as old as time, right? Two friends, former brothers, partners, travel the road together. One of them turns on the other, right? The classic WWE booking as far as tag teams are concerned here. But then we've gotten some convoluted stuff with the Factory getting involved and them taking out Ricky Starks and trying to help out Powerhouse Hobbs, but Hobbs doesn't really need help. They've actually been trying to recruit both of them. This kind of reminds me of like Sasha Banks and Bianca, where they got Reggie involved and kind of made him the central figure for some damn reason. I feel like Tony's doing the exact same thing here with the Factory, where they've kind of been the focus between Hobbs and Starks, where you didn't need that. These are just two dudes who, look, one of them turned on the other because he thought he was a weak link and he was ready to go forward, and Starks wants revenge, and boom, you're done. It's simple. And then we throw the Factory in here. I have no idea how they're going to factor into this. I think Starks should walk away the winner, but I think Hobbs is going to get the win here.
I'm fine with either outcome. This is another feud I've been a fan of for the most part. Keeping it simple, aside from, as you mentioned, the factory stuff. Ricky, I know, is facing QT Marshall tonight. I'm sorry. I always do respect the people involved. I do not care about the factory. It's just, I don't care. They try their hardest. Props to QT Marshall for attempting to elevate talent. They brought in Cole Carter, the former Troy Donovan from NXT, immediately put him in the factory. Why? I don't know what else you would really do with them, to be honest with you, but the factory is a dead end group. It's an enhancement group. There's no need for them to be involved in this storyline. That being said, I'm looking forward to the match. I think it should be a good match. But the real question here to me, the real story here is, where do you go and what, not really where do they go, but what happens to these two after the feud is over? Like, you and I can say, oh, they'll be TNT champion. They could be higher than that. Starks is great. He can be even higher than that, I think. Hobbs is also very good. It's a question of whether Tony Khan will push them in that role. And I know there's a lot more that goes into it than just say, oh, push this person or whatever. But I don't know. They're good enough. And they were also very underutilized in Team Taz, I think. Team Taz was great, but Team Taz as a group didn't really reach the heights I was hoping they would. So
agreed.
To me, it doesn't really matter who wins here. I'm going to say Starks wins just because I had Christian winning in the last grudge match. I'll say Starks wins here. Maybe the feud continues. Who knows? Maybe they do a rubber match and have Hobbs win the next one, whatever. But I'm going to say Starks takes this one.
Noob says that I think Hobbs is winning because he needs to be in the main event picture. I don't know if they would rush talk about pushing, but I don't think Hobbs is going to be the guy that jumps up to that main event level, because there's, I think there's a few other obvious choices that would be next for either Punk or Mox, and we'll get to that match coming up here in a little bit. But I think Hobbs winning, you could easily propel him, like you said, to the TNT title picture. I don't think he has to beat Wardlow, but my goodness, you need to give Wardlow also somebody that is a challenge. Like, he has just been beating up little dudes like left and right and, retaining the champion. Like, the best match he's gotten so far in his TNT title was the first one.
Was it Orange? Yeah. I was going to say Orange Cassidy. Were you talking about the first defense?
Yeah. The first defense was Orange Cassidy, right? Yeah. So, I mean, and like, he's on a 6-man tonight. Like, what the hell are we doing? Like, he was so damn hot coming out of last pay-per-view, and he's in a six match with two other guys who are also white hot in FTR. I don't know why we have 14 matches on this card, because I think you could condense a few of these down, right? That said, I'm happy the Acclaimed are finally getting their shot, but I don't know if it's necessarily the right time. FTR at some point has got to get that shot, right? They've been the number one contenders for a while, but yes, I digress, getting off the rails there a little bit. I think there's a clearer picture for Hobbs if he were to win, that you could put him up going against Wardlow. I don't necessarily think he needs to beat Wardlow, but he could be a challenger for Wardlow. I don't know where Ricky goes one way or the other, which is why I think that this feud is going to continue beyond Sunday, because I don't know where they would go from here elsewhere. I don't know if they got anything else lined up. So I think Hobbs wins over Starks, and they continue to feud after this, because there's really no clear spot for either one of them to go afterwards. Let's see. Where are we at? Oh, this is a match. This is a match that makes me so happy, but it is also one that makes me so damn pissed off, because there should have been a much bigger build toward this match. But still, this is going to be an absolute banger. Jade Cargill and Athena, for like the 2 minutes that we saw them actually in the ring together, incredible chemistry. Some of the best in-ring stuff I've seen from Jade in her career. Athena can absolutely go. I think she is one of the most underappreciated and underutilized talents, and that goes back to her times in the main roster in WWE, when they had her chasing the fucking 24/7 championship, for crying out loud. I wish Athena, I think she's had all of 5 televised matches since she joined the company in May. I felt like week after week after week, I'm like, are we going to start building toward this damn thing? Finally, they gave us a backstage fight that set up the match. They're going to go face-to-face tonight on Rampage ahead of this match on Sunday. This should feel like a bigger deal than it is. I put that solely on the booking, and we could talk ad nauseum about the women's booking, which we'll probably get to when we talk about the interim women's title match. Regardless, I wish this was a bigger deal. I think this match is absolutely going to bang. I'd love for Athena to win this, but they had just haven't presented her in a way that makes me feel like she even has a chance to on Sunday.
Yeah, that's a great point. I agree in the sense that I do think they haven't really presented her as being the one to beat Jade. I've been saying this is not just me. I think a lot of people were saying this before Athena even arrived in AEW. I think we probably talked about it back when we spoke for Revolution or whatever pay-per-view was earlier this year. What other of the people on the roster who could beat Jade Cargill? I mean, that was before they repackaged Chris Statlander, but Athena was someone to me. I'm thinking, all right, just in terms of size dynamic, Athena's on the smaller size. Jade is a monster. They are bound to have great chemistry. We've seen that so far in the ring. And Jade's been built up perfectly. People care about Athena, and Jade's the homegrown star. Athena's the new free agent for the women's division from coming off of her NXT run, whatever. So I've been looking forward to this match for a while. This, honestly, and I'm probably in the minority here, this was the match I always wanted to see. The match that we were going to get was either a three-way with Chris or just Statlander and Jade one-on-one. Honestly, based off all the reports about how, Chris Statlander was going to get this massive push before she got hurt, kind of tells you what wasn't really already confirmed was that she was going to win this match and win the championship. It really seemed like she was going to be one to take the title. And I like Chris Statlander a lot. And I probably would have been a fan of that. I do think it's time to kind of move past the undefeated streak for Jade. If she wins here, I mean, who else even is there left? Do you build to a rematch? I mean, I guess that's possible. If it may not be tonight that Athena wins, that's fine. But if it's not Athena, then do you wait until Chris Statlander's back? It could be a year. I mean, her injury is pretty serious. It's the same one that she had the last time, except on the other knee. So I don't know, man. I'm a big enough fan of Athena, and just with the way the story is going, I want her to win. I think it'd be a real shock. I think it would go over well. She's been ready for a title run. We haven't really seen her have anything of a title run since her NXT title run 4 or 5 years ago, which is crazy. Criminal. I'm going to go Athena, and I think she has not been built up to feel like a threat. I agree. I do feel like we'll talk about the women's division with the other match. I feel like also the issue, in addition to the booking, is the injury to Chris Statlander. That messed up their plans, cooled off the build. I'm going to go Athena here, but I would not at all be surprised to see Jade Cargill win.
I think the smart booking here, and I agree with you, because Jade's run here has kind of run out of steam because she's out of opponents. She's out of babyface. Yeah. Like, just looking at the roster, okay, like what you got? I mean, Athena.
She already beat Ruby Soho to win the title.
Shida? Did she beat Shida?
No, I think Shida's one of the few people she hasn't beaten. So, I mean, you could go to Shida. That's possible.
Could go to Shida after that, right?
She beat
Paige Van Zant. I mean, what are we doing here? Where are we going here?
She already beat Ty Conti and Anna Jay a bunch of times.
I mean, Toni Storm.
I mean, we'll get to her later, but I don't think.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the fact remains you have more heels in the women's division that could go up against Athena as the TBS champion and completely revitalize and refresh that division, which right now it's exhausted. It's kind of the same situation we have with Roman Reigns in WWE, where he's beaten everybody. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, thank God we're finally getting to Drew, and here's Karrion Kross, and now we got a few other options. Cody was there, right? We were all excited about that, and then he got hurt. So it's like, well, shit, now we're talking about going back to the retreads again. Oh, how about Kevin Owens? How about Sami Owens? Right? I feel like that's where we're at with Jade, but I just get this sense that they want to keep pushing Jade. Because here's my question, right? Without the TBS championship and without the undefeated streak, who is Jade Cargill? Because that's basically her entire character.
Yeah.
Is built around that. I'm the baddest bitch on this planet. I'm the bitch. This is my show. No one can touch my stuff. What happens after that? Especially if somebody like Athena, who comes in all of 5'1" and beats her. Now, that said, I really hope that they let Athena do what she does best and go back to her indie style here. Athena's a damn powerhouse. I know this because she told me so herself. That interview is still up, still relevant, still live on this channel right now. It's fantastic. Go check it out. But I mean, she can squat. She can push a lot of weight. She is somebody who they was told she had to be a high flyer in WWE to stand out. She is a ground and pound. And I think she is somebody who could believably beat Jade Cargill if they just let her be herself. Question is, will they do that? I feel like Jade is going to get the win here and then continue to do what they've done with the women's division and just kind of let her float aimlessly, and then just come out and cut the same promos and tell Tony to cut the shit and wait for the free agent signee to come in and get her shot. Or maybe there's some bullshit involved. Maybe we get Red Velvet returning and costs Athena the match. That could keep. But at this point, we're on our 7th match, and I'm talking about, that could have shenanigans, and that could have shenanigans, and that could have shenanigans. We need some clean wins here. I'd love it if Athena won. I would, but I think Jade is going to get the win. I have no clue why this match is happening. This is another one of those Thanksgiving leftovers matches where it's like, we don't have anything for Wardlow or FTR, which is unfathomable to me. So let's put them up against Jay Lethal, and, they're not going to do Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh because no one wanted to see that. Let's bring in the freaking Motor City Machine Guns, baby. That'll get people revved up. That said, Graham, come on. Wardlow, FTR, they're winning. Jay Lethal's taking the pin, right? What are we doing?
Yeah, well, either that or I could see them having them pin, one of the Machine Guns because they don't work there. I could see that too. But you're right.
Fair.
Yeah. The outcome is not in doubt. And listen, I'm happy with the change, and then it's also a question of what the fuck are we doing here? You're right. It does make the match 10 times better. I am not paying to see Satnam Singh in the ring. I'm sorry. Sanjay Dutt, I like a lot, but the last time we saw Sanjay in the ring on Rampage or whatever it was, he was wearing a suit. They're not portraying him as the wrestler he was in Impact all those years ago. Satnam Singh, I don't think he's ready yet. We've seen a little bit of him in the ring. He's not ready for the spot. The problem with this, first of all, the fact they even put Wardlow in a 6-man is embarrassing. The second thing is that the whole purpose of doing a 6-man if you're sitting there asking yourself, why is he feuding with Jay Lethal? The answer is, he faced Jay Lethal at Battle of the Belts. He already beat Jay Lethal. Okay, Why is he still feuding with Jay Lethal? The answer to that is, he hasn't powerbombed Satnam Singh yet. How can he powerbomb Satnam Singh if he's not even in the fucking match? it's I don't get it. I don't understand.
So here's the thing, right? You want, and this is something that I've talked about on other platforms before, because it is kind of confusing as to what is the payoff there, because you're not going to put the TNT championship on Satnam Singh. You're not going to have Singh beat Wardlow. So the whole story around that is, okay, can Wardlow powerbomb Satnam Singh? So that's it. So Satnam Singh gets involved in this match and Wardlow powerbombs him. Hopefully he can powerbomb him, right? Because that's the whole fucking point, is can he powerbomb him? So Satnam Singh is going to get involved in this. The referee somehow isn't going to see this big son of a bitch because the referees are blind in AEW, right? Yeah. So Wardlow will powerbomb Satnam Singh. The crowd will go crazy. They'll end up winning the match, Wardlow and FTR, and that'll be the end of it. That way you don't have to have a match. You don't have to have your 7'8" giant get beat. He just got powerbombed. That's it. End of story. There you go. So instead of having him lose a match, get powerbombed, it'll be a moment, and everybody will forget that most of this happened by this time next week. FTR, no offense to the Acclaimed. I love the Acclaimed. I'm happy they're finally getting this shot. This should be FTR's match. Regardless, we're getting Swerve in Our Glory and the Acclaimed. I think the reason why FTR is not getting this match is because Swerve in Our Glory is retaining the tag team championships. That said, it should be a good one.
Yeah, it's weird. FTR, one of those teams that, if you go back and look at it, haven't been on pay-per-view. AEW, they weren't on Forbidden Door, but they weren't on Double or Nothing. They weren't on Revolution, I don't think. They were on Full Gear, but that was in November. I feel like they couldn't wait any longer with them not being on the show. There's no way you have the main event, your Ring of Honor show, and then don't have them on All Out. So I feel like that was just his excuse. We've heard a lot of stories. Plans got changed. It was supposed to be the Bucks and FTR, and then Omega came back, so that kind of fucked up everything. I don't know, man. For a company that has as great of a tag team division as they do, I'm so disappointed with the booking of the division lately. It's just so random. Swerve in Our Glory, maybe it's just me, are never on the fucking show. And if they are, it's in a 30-second pre-tape promo in the back.
Rampage. More often than not, they're on Rampage.
Exactly. They're usually on Rampage. I like both guys, to be completely honest, and they work well as partners. I never wanted to see them team in the first place. When they first came into the company and they teamed, I thought, okay, this is cool. What I meant to say is I didn't want to see them as tag team champions. You have a division that has so many good teams. FTR should be champions right now. It is comical that they have been number one in these rankings that are supposed to matter for, I'm not even kidding, 6 months or whatever it's been, and nothing is even acknowledged or said about it. I mean, how does that happen?
By them on social media. Except by them on social media when the rankings come out.
They clearly just don't give a fuck, and I applaud them for that. I mean, they just don't care, and they know that Tony Khan's not going to let them go because they're the best tag team in the goddamn world. This should be their spot.
They can't even get in the video game, Graham. They're not even in the fucking video game.
It's incredible. I don't understand. I don't understand it, and I hate to say that because I love the Acclaimed. And here's another issue too. I think the Acclaimed should win. I think it's going to be Swerve and Our Glory retaining. Here's the problem, though. The Acclaimed, as far as like I talk about this division, they're a team that has gotten just look it up. They've gotten so many title shots already. You can only get so many title shots before people lose interest, and they just turn face. They're really hot. I get it. People probably don't even remember most of those other shots. I understand that. But they've been built up as the ultimate stepping stone team. You feed to a team when they just become champions. They're like the first or second defense. They get beat, and then the champions move on. I mean, when are we going to move on from them as the bridesmaids to the bride? They're going to put the belts on these guys. I don't think Swerve and Our Glory should be champions. I want it to be FTR, but if it's not FTR anytime soon, I think it should be the Acclaimed. I think the crowd would love it. I know this match has gotten absolutely no fucking belt. I don't know how that happened. The fact they announced this in a backstage segment in 30 seconds a week ago was embarrassing. I'm sorry. I don't care about injuries. There's no excuse here. I mean, the Acclaimed have been on the show feuding with let me check my notes, the fucking Gun Club. I mean, come on.
I mean, that has been going on forever. Like they had a fucking dumpster match, which was supposed to be the blow off.
Yeah.
And then they're wrestling again. Like after that.
And they're not even facing them at the show. It's Swerve and Our Glory they're facing. I don't get it. I want the Acclaim to win. I think Swerve and Our Glory should go there. I want Keith Lee on his own. I want Swerve on their own. None of this tag team shit. They're great. Don't get me wrong. I wanted to see them in AEW, not for the tag team matches. I want to see them on their own. Enough of this garbage. So I know I say that. Be careful what you wish for. They might go on to do nothing. Who knows with this company? I get it, but I want to see them split up and the Acclaimed win. I feel like it's going to be Keith Lee and Swerve winning. Not worst case scenario. I just would prefer the Acclaimed winning the belts, though, personally.
Let's see. Stephen Chambers saying that Swerve is going to turn heel eventually. I hope sooner rather than later. I think
I agree.
Great. He's also goes on to say that Acclaim will win in an upset because Swerve will turn. Like that's the thing about Swerve and Keith Lee. Like when they won the belts, that was a shocking moment. I wasn't expecting them to actually happen, but I also never expected them to have a long run because they never have been on the same damn page.
Yes.
So eventually that's got to cost them. So I do think that the Acclaimed have a puncher's chance of winning this one. I do worry what happens if they lose, like, especially if they lose clean as a sheet. Like, I don't think this one is going to have like any kind of outside interference, but if the Acclaimed win, it's going to be because Keith Lee and Swerve aren't on the same page again. And that might start their split here, but you do have the Acclaimed who are white hot right now. But if the here's the other issue. If the Acclaimed win, now how much longer are you kicking FTR's title shot down the road?
And the Bucks were already champion for like 2 weeks. And then these guys are going to have a reign for 2 months. I mean, we got to put some importance back in these tag team titles. I mean, people may hate to admit it, but when the Bucks were champions or it wasn't the Bucks, Jurassic Express were champion for like 5-6 months. Yeah. I don't know. The booking of the division this year has been a mess.
And it's the deepest tag team division in the entire
Exactly.
world.
That's what I don't understand.
Entire world. It's been weird. It has been weird. But I don't know. I don't mind short reigns, right? Like as long as there's a purpose to it.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know. I think Swerve and Lee dropping the belts to the Acclaimed would not serve much of a purpose other than just keeping the Acclaimed white hot. But again, we'll see. This matchup has a lot of intrigue to it, mostly because of the person we have no idea who's in the damn match. The casino ladder match, always fun when a Joker's involved here. Graham, any major guesses? I know the top theory here is that MJF is going to show back up as the Joker. He's going to win. He's going to get his world title shot, which will set things up with either CM Punk or Jon Moxley, which that would make a ton of sense. But I'm also sitting here, I'm going, if I'm the boss of a major company and one of my stars screamed into the television camera, "Fire me, you fucking Mark," I'm not bringing him back after 3 months off television and putting him in a world title opportunity. I'm just not doing it. That would not make any storyline sense whatsoever.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Which is why I think it's Adam Cole. I think Adam Cole is going to get is going to be cleared. He's the big name. I don't expect it to be a major like signing from outside the company, because if that was the case, maybe they would have just let it be W. Morrissey if he was going to be the big surprise, which why the hell is he showing up a week before the pay-per-view? That doesn't make any damn sense. You could have spent that time actually building a fucking match on this show, giving that time to Athena and Jade Cargill or to Swerve and the Acclaimed or whatever. But okay. You bring in W. Morrissey early. I don't think he's going to bring anybody else from outside the company, but then again, I don't know. It could be somebody from New Japan. Who knows?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the leading theory, I didn't even hear people say Adam Cole. That's a great guess. I'm going to go, I think it's safe to say whoever wins this is not winning the title when they get that title. I feel like they're just going to do the match on TV next week and they'll lose, and that's what AEW does, whatever. But that's fine.
Unless it is MJF, and then that will be at a big show.
Yeah, but like you said, you literally took the words right out of my mouth. It would make absolutely no fucking sense. I mean, for WWE, we've seen enough illogical things from them over the last number of years. Let's not now that Triple H is in charge, give the illogical shit to AEW. Let's just all do stuff that makes sense. That would make no sense. I want to see MJF go for the title. There's other ways to explain that and build to it than doing that, because he doesn't have to go for the title anytime soon. But that being said, a lot of people have predicted Samoa Joe. We haven't seen him since Death Before Dishonor. The show that he was working on, I heard, wrapped up. Makes sense. He could win. I'd be fine with it. I would be totally fine with that. Joe and fucking Punk, hey, sign me the fuck up on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that'd be cool. I feel like the last time they did this, they had Paige win and he was the Joker. I mean, you don't want to get into a habit of the Joker winning every time. So I'm going to go, Adam Cole's a great pick. I'm going to go just for the hell of it. Just pick a straw out of a hat or whatever. I'm going to go Andrade. The guy wins almost never on TV. I'll just go Andrade. Right. Him and Punk or him and Moxley would be really cool.
Here's an idea. Just spitballing here, and this may ultimately change my mind on what I'm going to do when I get to the main event. But what if you had Claudio win this and then face John Moxley for the AEW World Championship, and you had two Blackpool Combat Club members just beat the holy hell out of each other? I mean, Mox would retain, I would think, over Claudio, but my goodness, man, just sign me, put that shit in my veins. Just sign me up for it, like right now.
That would be awesome. Yeah. I don't know if they would want, if Tony, I mean, I don't know how much of a shit he gives about the Ring of Honor title. I don't know if he would want to get the Ring of Honor World Champion beat on TV, even if it was for the AEW title. But listen, I don't give a shit about that. If it gave us Claudio versus Moxley or Claudio versus Punk for, I don't think they ever did that match in WWE. I'd be very excited. So he's probably my second pick behind. I would probably say Andrade for me, not because I think he's definitely going to win. I'm just spitballing here. Andrade, Joker, whoever that might be, and then Claudio 3 would be my choice. But you can't really go wrong with any of these guys.
It would be fun if they threw a bone to either Penta or Ray.
Yeah.
I don't see Wheeler winning this one, but I guess, he would probably be the guy. I feel him. I don't know. I think I'm going to go ahead and pick Claudio. I think Claudio's good. So we are going to have our trios tournament finals on Sunday, but before that, we have to determine who is going to be facing the Elite. So this match is happening tonight. Hangman Adam Page, shocker, no one saw this one coming, is going to be tagging with the Dark Order against Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends, which means, Graham, that Hangman Adam Page and the Dark Order are winning tonight, and then they are going to face the Elites for the Trios Championships at All Out. That is the story they laid out from jump. I love it when a plan comes together. So instead of Hangman and the Bucks, instead of that Hung Bucks reunion, we're now going to get Hangman facing the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega in the finals. Dark Order's just coming along for the ride. Who wins?
Oh man, it's tough. I'm gonna go Omega in the Bucks for the. Actually, I don't know because the last time I said that prediction to someone, my justification was, how can you not put the belts in them when they're about to head into a 6-man with Cole and Red Dragon Undisputed Elite? The problem is we don't know if we're getting that match now with Bobby Fish presumably either leaving or his contract's up. And, someone said to me, oh, maybe they'll do the match. I would love if they wrote him out that way, if they had to do the match and wrote him out.
Here's the other problem is, I don't know if this was confirmed or not, but
O'Reilly, right?
Yeah, you had O'Reilly posting on, Instagram that he may have had neck fusion surgery. So he could be gone for a long ass time. So we don't know. We know Adam Cole's getting close to coming back, and if you don't have Red Dragon there, that's why I assumed, okay, he would open him up for the casino ladder match, right? That would be a good spot for him. Yeah, but man, when it comes down to this, I think the story is right there. And you've had Kenny Omega since he's come back say, "Oh yeah, I'm 100." He's great. He's 100%, right? Well, that's why he's wearing the compression shirts and he's got like all the tape on and everything. You have the out right there.
Yeah,
is the fact that Kenny's not 100%. He came back to help out the Young Bucks. Are you sure you're ready? Right? That was like the first question. We don't know if he's 100%. Maybe they rushed him back. Maybe they rushed him back. That could be the story there. That's your out to where Hangman could pin Kenny Omega to win the Trios championships for the Dark Order. And frankly, I think the Dark Order deserves it and has kind of earned it because they have been, since Brody, passed, they've basically been an enhancement team. They have been just completely lost in the shuffle, just hanging around. And even beyond all that, you've had Johnny Hungy get over, man, and you have this great story built there with Hangman Adam Page. I'm picking them in the Dark Order. I think you beat a wounded Kenny Omega, and I think the crowd will love that. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I could definitely go either way. I was thinking definitely the Elite. I'm going to stick with the Elite, but I mean, you make a good point as to why they can lose with the compression shirts and showing Omega's not 100%, the ring rust and whatever. I feel like the time to do either a match like this or put the belts on Dark Order would have been a year ago when they were super white hot, and then Tony Khan just proceeded to do absolutely nothing with them. I mean, they've remained aligned with Page, but like you said, they are the ultimate enhancement team. I like Silver and Reynolds a lot. They're a good team, so it's definitely not the worst option. I'd be fine with that, but I'm going to stick with the Elite, assuming they have something planned with them as champions and whatever. But maybe not. Maybe they don't want to put the belts on themselves because they're EVPs and it might be too self-serving. Who knows? But I'm going to go with the Elite though.
Yeah. And the other thing with the Dark Order is, first off, they did absolutely nothing with him, and then Tony slowly starts dissipating the team, right? Like you had a few guys who left the company, Anna Jay goes over to JAS, and now all of a sudden you got like 4 dudes, and then one of them gets hurt, which is why Hangman has to get into the match, and it's like, Jesus, you owe him something.
Yeah,
you owe him something. I'm going with Dark Order. I think they get the job done. This match is going to bang, right? Because of course it is. You got the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, going up against Lionheart, Chris Jericho. Danielson should win the match. I think he is going to win the match. I don't have a whole lot to say. It's going to be good, but Danielson needs the win here. This is basically like the Daniel Garcia custody match, right? Like I think whoever wins this match is also going to get Daniel Garcia. I think Daniel Garcia's time in JAS has worn out its welcome, and I think he would be served better now. Now that Jericho's done his job and elevated him on the card, let's get him over into the Blackpool Combat Club where he belongs.
I think it's a total case of what you said earlier, where what you just said is what they should do. I think he stays with JAS. I think they've laid it on a little too thick, that they're teasing tension with Garcia and Jericho to the point where he's going to ultimately stick it to him and be like, oh, look, we swerved. Yeah, they're actually staying together. Like, I have not from the jump been a fan of JAS, and not in like a heel way, like, oh, boo. Like, I just think the whole faction sucks. I just don't think it's a good idea. The whole sports entertainment shit is stupid. It's just dumb. And I think Garcia, what'd you say?
I know. I just did the sports entertainers.
Yeah, I know. They do a good job with that. I like 2.0. I like people in the group. Hager's a waste of a roster spot. But anyway, I think Garcia is so over right now and has the momentum to where he should split away and do his own thing or join Blackpool. I don't think that's going to happen. He's already facing Utah on Wednesday. Maybe that's a swerve to make us stay. Who knows? Maybe they're double swerving us. Who knows? Bottom line, I think Danielson wins here. I could see Garcia costing Danielson the win. I really don't need to see Jericho beating Bryan Danielson in 2022. Jericho's team already won a Double or Nothing. I don't really need to see him win. I'm going to say Danielson, and hopefully I think Garcia sticks with Jericho ultimately afterward, but I would love to see him go with Danielson though.
Yeah, I'm just kind of hoping that Tony Khan doesn't think like he owes Jericho a win over Blackpool Combat Club after he lost to Moxley, right? Like that's the only like thing I think that could go through Tony's mind is like, well, we got to get Jericho a win back. Do you really?
No. He already beat Eddie Kingston, and he beat them at fucking Double or Nothing. He does not need any more wins right now.
No, you know who needs a win? Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson needs a win right now. He's been in the company for how long now? This
a
point?
Year, actually, exactly. Yeah.
Has it been a year already?
Since Are you All Out last year? Yeah, which is wild.
Jesus, I just realized my cat's in here. Anyway, There's Simon. Everybody say hi. He snuggled. Anyway, yeah, I Bryan Danielson needs to win this match, hands down. All right, we've surprisingly made it through 12 matches with 8 minutes left to go. So let's rev this up. Our two main events, and this match, should it get time, and God damn it, it should get time to crown the AEW Interim Women's World Championship. Toni Storm, Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D, Jamie Hayter, Hikaru Shida. I honestly, this is a fatal four-way. Graham, I think this is a two-horse race. I really do. I know there's fans of Jamie Hayter who would love to see her pull the win. I know there are people who want Shida two belts or whatever the hashtag is on social media. To me, this is a two-horse race. It comes down to whether or not it's Toni time or whether or not Toni goes back to his safety blanket. I think that is totally what it is here. It's either Toni Storm, Dr. Britt Baker. Where do you think they go here?
I completely agree. And I have to note how ironic it is. We're shortchanged on time, as the women are on AEW TV are every single week. You mentioned 8 minutes, too, the amount of time that Punk got for his promo to relinquish the title. Thunder Rosa got 30 seconds. I digress. I'm still not over how dumb that quote was, but whatever. As far as the match goes,
it was an excuse. It was absolutely
100%
is what that was. You can't sit here and tell me you can't carve out 2 minutes. You couldn't carve out, like, nobody's sitting here saying that Thunder Rosa is as big of a draw as CM Punk, so she should have got 8. That's not what we're saying. She should have had 2 to 3 minutes in the ring to relinquish her Women's World Championship. At the very least, respect your AEW Women's Championship as the same as you do your AEW Men's World Title. And by the way, saying she's not a big as draw as CM Punk is, who the fuck is on your roster? Are you trying to tell me that Hangman Adam Page, if he had to relinquish the AEW World Championship, wouldn't have gotten a fairly lengthy promo? Maybe not 8 minutes, but a
Britt
fairly
Baker,
lengthy promo.
even Britt or Jade, yeah,
exactly. But still, I digress. It was dumb. It was. I'm not buying the excuse whatsoever, and that kind of excuse obviously doesn't land either when you have spent the last several months giving us one match a week on Dynamite, more often than not in the 9:20 time slot, with half the match in picture-in-picture. I'm sorry. That excuse doesn't hold any water to me. Anywho, I've said my piece on that. Who wins?
I was told on Twitter that Thunder Rosa isn't good on the mic, so that's why they had to keep her segment short, which is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. I don't care how bad or good she is in the mic. That's ridiculous. If you think that Gun Club should have gotten 2 minutes or 5 minutes for their match that episode, it was Billy versus Austin or Colton Gunn last week, fuck you. I'm sorry. That's just beyond dumb. Anyway, Toni Storm wins. She should have won anyway with her and Thunder. I think she wins here. That's it for me. Rant over.
Here's my thing, right? And here's my rationale. I would love it if Toni Storm won this match. I really, really would. I think for the betterment of the women's division, Britt Baker should win this match, because Britt Baker is the one woman on the entire roster that Toni Storm will book as a world champion. She just is. She's the biggest star, one of the biggest stars in the entire company. She still is the biggest star on the women's roster. And that's obviously due to her, but it's also due to the fact that nobody else in the women's division gets booked worth a damn on a consistent basis. Not even Jade Cargill, as we talked about earlier. She has been just kind of floating aimlessly, doing her promo stuff and winning enhancement matches, right? So it's like, Britt Baker is the star of the women's division. She's the last champion that Toni seemingly cared about. Like, I remember when Thunder Rosa won, I was like, yes, this is the right time. She is white hot. This is the great time to elevate the women's division up to the next level. And then, her first night as champion, she gets a backstage promo again. Vicky Guerrero is screaming at her, and then what? She got cake in the face or some crap like that?
It was dumb. It was really bad. Yeah, with Nyla Rose, it was really bad.
It got off on the wrong foot from jump, and then it ended horribly as well. I'm going with Britt Baker. I think Tony's going to go back to his safety blanket, and honestly, I really do think that the women's division is going to be booked better because of it. Maybe not great, but better, because Tony's going to have his safety blanket and Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D. And honestly, I wouldn't be mad at it either, because Dr. Britt Baker's great, so fuck it. Why not? And our last match, and the only one who doesn't have the fancy, I'm like, look at these. They have
I know, yeah.
And then we get the main event, and this is the one we got? Whatever. All right, so regardless, AEW World Championship, Jon Moxley shocked everybody when he squashed CM Punk inside of 4 minutes. He told me the day after, he don't work by the hour, damn it. CM Punk gets talked into challenging Moxley in Chicago by a steal. We got Mox in Chicago. It's going to be a raucous crowd. You know they're going to be chanting for him. There's no way in hell this is going to be another squash match. Punk's foot is magically okay now. Wasn't even limping a week after, but okay. How does this one go?
I think Punk wins. I feel like you just can't do the match twice and have him lose, especially if it was clean. Listen, I'm fine with them going with heel Punk, because heel Punk is money. The problem is that I just wouldn't turn him heel in his hometown. I just feel like the timing is terrible. If they were anywhere else, I'd be like, all right, fine, that's cool. But are they really going to boo him?
Regardless? Remember,
that's what I'm saying.
MJF was welcomed back as a hero in Long Island. All right, Britt Baker at the height of her heel turn or her heel run was welcomed as she could have been the Queen of England in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
The hometown heroes, they get their pops no matter what. Even Brian Pillman was cheered in Cincinnati, for crying out loud. So seriously, it would be a terrible time to turn him heel, but you could do it anyway, regardless. You're not going to get the reaction that you want from the crowd. But AEW's MO has always been let the crowd react how they want to react, and I think that's one of the best things about the company. So don't let the hometown crowd affect your booking at all here.
Yeah, my whole thing is I wouldn't have done the first match on TV. I know what he said yesterday in the conference call. I get it. I still don't agree. I'm not as excited for this match on Sunday as I was for the original one, because it's whatever. But I'm still looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great match. I just wish the build was a bit different, but that's just, my own standpoint on it. But I do think Punk wins here. We'll get more of a feud between these two, maybe a rubber match on TV or a Full Gear, and we get the real promos, then some more promos between them. It's been interesting. It's gotten people talking, if nothing else, for better or for worse. I think Punk wins here. I feel like Moxley winning twice just doesn't do Punk many favors. It's not Moxley's no chump, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I don't know. I just wouldn't have Punk lose twice, especially if he's not turning heel.
Moxley's been so white hot. The way that they booked that match, it kind of gives me the sense that they gave him that as kind of all right, let's solidify your run. Because his whole run as interim world champion is fuck that word. Fuck interim. I am the AEW world champion. So at least that win solidified it. That said, man, I do think we get MJF involved here. I think a lot of people, like I said, are expecting him in the casino ladder match. I think he shows up and he screws everything over. Maybe we don't even get a finish here. Could you imagine if Punk is getting ready to win the AEW World Title and MJF shows up out of the crowd and punches him with that damn fucking dynamite diamond ring, and he just leaves both Punk and Moxley laying? Could you imagine the nuclear white heat that would be raining down from that crowd in Chicago? You'd be sending everybody home pissed off, but everybody would remember that finish.
Yeah, no, that's true. I'm not a big fan of doing non-finishes in the main event of a pay-per-view that people are paying money for. Same. But if it's something like that where it's the return of MJF, which is the biggest thing that we're all awaiting right now, it could work. It has to be done in such a way, like you said, where it's going to get people talking, making you look forward to Wednesday on Dynamite and whatever. I'd be okay with that to a certain extent. I would rather a finish, but then it's like, at least if you do that, you protect both guys. Exactly. I don't know. It feels like there's a pro and con to all of these situations, but I wouldn't hate that though. I wouldn't hate that. I think MJF is back soon. It's either here or at Grand Slam.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't see like a win, a scenario where everybody wins.
Yeah,
right?
No, exactly. I agree.
Yeah, so it's a really tough booking decision for Tony Khan, and it's all based off of the fact that they already did this match once, and Punk got his ass whooped. And now it's like Punk's trying to go back in to get his confidence back. I actually do think that MJF showing up at the end of the night would be the best business decision. It's just that the fans lose, right? Because we get a good match with a bullshit finish.
Exactly.
We all hate bullshit finishes, but at the end of the day, it might be what is best for business. It is 8:01. SmackDown is on. We need to shut the hell up. Graham, what do you got going on at Bleacher Report? I know you were talking to people ahead of Clash at the Castle. You got to sit down with Drew McIntyre, who might be winning a world championship this weekend. Who knows? We'll find out before All Out hits on Sunday. That's for sure. Clash at the Castle is, or however the hell you pronounce that title, is going to be 1 o'clock special start time tomorrow. What do you got going on that people can check out before that show?
You said it all right there, my man. Sat down with Drew ahead of Clash, and he's a great chap. As you know, we talked to him a million times, as you know, in the last year as WWE champion. Drew's great. Drew's always awesome. And I enjoyed the Shanna chat as well. So people can check that out. You plug my shit. I got to plug your shit as well. Yeah, no, you said it right there. Bleacher Report, Wrestle Rant, all that good stuff. And I'm looking forward to the weekend, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you guys, everybody who tuned in. Enjoy SmackDown, enjoy Rampage, enjoy everything else that's going on. A saying that SmackDown isn't live, so who cares? I care because I have to watch it because I have to cover it in 3 hours live on another outlet that they don't let me plug my stuff there, so I'm not going to plug them here. Anywho, so thank you, Graham. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody who tuned in. Enjoy the weekend. So glad we were able to squeeze in all these shows this week. God, I got to figure out how to do this full time. All right. Enjoy the weekend, guys. You've been watching a special edition and listening to a special edition of the Bleav in Pro Wrestling podcast brought to you by Bet Online. Enjoy the weekend, guys.